In this video, I'm going to discuss 5 ways to stay healthy as a vegan. I'm Professor Chi. I help people raise their vibration. Thank you for tuning in to yet another video. Now let's get started. I have a long history of being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since the 70s, and I was a vegan long before it was called veganism in the 70s. I followed a fellow named Victoras Kulvinskas and Ann Wigmore, and in those days it was called raw foodism. And the raw food movement was very different than veganism in that it wasn't popular. It was very obscure, and they understood that there's a tremendous detox that comes from becoming a vegan. I believe that perhaps there's less of a detox now because people's diets are different than they were in the 70s. However, I feel that the underemphasis on what it takes to adequately be healthy as a vegan is not well understood today, and many people are what I call political eaters. They're a vegan because they don't want to hurt animals. They're a vegan because they want to save the earth. Now, these are all very good things, and I don't mean to diminish the zeal to help the planet, because I certainly feel that as well. However, we can't underestimate the reality that the earth really is in dire straits, and that many people are internalizing the guilt of why the planet is being hurt, and that internalization of the guilt becomes things like veganism and all these political movements to save the earth, which is fine. Again, I don't mean to underestimate those or to put people down for that. But I will say that I'm a licensed acupuncturist, and I've been an acupuncturist since 1986, and I'm not just making this stuff up. I have a lot of personal convictions around this topic of veganism, and a lot of clinical experience of treating unhealthy vegans, because the body is protein. Protein synthesis is the main thing that creates a healthy body, and if we don't get adequate amounts of protein, we're going to run into problems with blood production. If you have unhealthy blood, you will not be able to have healthy qi. This is basic Chinese medicine. Most of these ideas that I'm going to present right now are from Chinese medicine. To start with, Daoists 1,000 years ago or longer had an idea about veganism. They called it giving up grain. And giving up grain was considered the pinnacle of Taoism. And to get to the point of giving up grain, you had to be quite advanced, not spiritually, but energetically. You had to be able to overcome cold. You had to have the ability to overcome hunger. You had to be able to be a qi master, to live on qi. And above all, they were very good in the sense that they didn't have a lot of sex. They were transmuting all their vitality or all their jing into the power that it takes to live. And they certainly didn't, drink alcohol or smoke marijuana. And they were beyond the limitations and conceptualizations that most of us consider normal. Now, I'm not saying that you need to become a superhuman to be a vegan, but I would say that it wouldn't hurt. And I will say that if you're going to be a vegan, it's very important to hang on to the vitality that you have, and don't waste it. Don't waste it having lots of sex. Don't waste it smoking marijuana. Marijuana is not good for you. I understand why everybody likes marijuana. I'm not against marijuana. But I will say that if you don't have a lot of vitality and you are a vegan, The last thing you need is marijuana, because marijuana will affect your spleen. It will affect your ability to create blood and energy from the food that you eat. So to do yourself a favor, if you're going to be a vegan, be good. And I understand how difficult that is, that concept to be good, particularly if you're young. So the emphasis that I'm making in this film is that if you want to be a vegan, that's fine. And I'm not here to argue with you or to talk you out of it. I'm just trying to talk about health. And if you're going to be a vegan and you're doing it for political reasons to save the earth and all that, understand that you may well be jeopardizing your health in the long run. I'm talking about the long run. Many people that I know that are vegans, they're vegans because they don't want to cook. They're vegans because they don't know how to cook. They're vegans because it just sounds great. I mean, my God, it sounds great. I'm a vegan. If you're having to tell people you're a vegan, chances are you're a vegan for all the wrong reasons. I digress. Another important concept in Chinese medicine is cold food. And what I mean by cold food is detoxifying raw fruits and vegetables. Now, I understand the dichotomy here, that in veganism, oh my goodness, that raw fruits and vegetables are the natural thing, the only caramelous thing that you can eat, and that's where all the vitality is. But I say to you, this is not entirely true. In China, the last thing the Chinese will eat is raw fruits and vegetables. They cook everything, and vegetables are always cooked with ginger because vegetables are considered very yin and they need to be balanced with yang. The Chinese eat a lot of vegetables, but they don't eat a lot of raw vegetables. I don't know exactly what to say about this other than the fact that if you are going to always eating raw foods, raw cold foods, and detoxifying all the time, at what point are you detoxified? You can't live your life detoxifying. And I'm talking about long-term health here. If you've only been a vegan for a couple of years and you're young, you have a lot of vitality and it's not going to be that big of a problem. But when you start to get to be my age and you no longer take in adequate amounts of protein, you will have problems. If you're a young woman that hopes to have a baby, perhaps you might want to think twice about not eating any protein or thinking that you're getting enough protein from fruits and vegetables, because you're not. There's a couple of signs and symptoms that'll show if you're having too many raw foods in your diet. First and foremost is loose stools. A normal stool, and a stool is poop, a normal stool is soft, well-formed, and it's not loose. If you're having loose stools and you're going to the bathroom 5 or 6 times a day, you're detoxifying way too much. You need to eat a diet that has enough vitality in the food that you're eating to not just run through you. You're not a bird. And I'm not saying that you should go off and eat meat, because I don't eat meat, and nor do you even have to eat dairy products. Dairy products are not that good for you. A certain amount of eggs and milk, perhaps, if you're trying to build your system up, but you certainly need rice and beans. If you get anything from this video, start eating rice and beans 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Rice and beans will keep you alive. Now, I understand all the propaganda these days that it's against carbohydrates, but if you are not eating protein, you need to fuel your body on something. Fuel it with good brown rice and really good beans. Learn how to cook rice and beans. Get yourself a rice cooker. Eat rice and beans a few times a week, please, for the sake of your health. Another mistake that I see with vegans is they don't eat in season. And if you're a raw vegan, that's next to impossible. You should only be eating fruit and vegetables that are in season and that are grown locally. This is just obvious. To go back to the ancient Daoists, They didn't live on fruits and vegetables. They lived on what they found in the forests. They lived on things like reishi mushrooms and poria, puffballs and things like that. I mean, they weren't thinking about what was tasty. They were thinking about vitality, high energy food. If you're gonna be a vegan, get yourself a sprouting machine. You've got to eat sprouts. You have to eat something vital. You can't possibly hope to live on fruits and vegetables. And if you're doing this and you're healthy, well, then more power to you. I'm not here to tell you not to do something. I'm not really speaking to the people that are the tried and true vegans. I'm speaking to the people that want to become a vegan. I say, what is wrong with vegetarianism? Become a vegetarian. Why can't we just make that word okay? Why does it have to be vegan? But again, I digress. Back in the day, in the 70s, when raw foodism was just getting its start, the idea was that you need to move to some place tropical. If you want to be a raw vegan in particular, it's a very good idea to live in Baños, Ecuador, or someplace in Colombia, or in Thailand, someplace that will support your idea. You need a lot of sunshine. No matter what, if you are even if you're a vegetarian, it's a very good idea to get a sun bath every day. If you're living in Minnesota and you're trying to be a vegan, please get yourself an infrared light or something, because you're not getting enough chi, enough vitality into your system. Get it from the sun. Also, it's very important that if you are going to, no matter what you're doing, you should be doing breathing exercises. But particularly if you're a vegan, practice something like solar qigong, which I teach, and you can go to solarqigong.com and take my lessons and learn how to breathe that qi deep into the very center of your spine and build some jing up. Building jing up is really, really important if you hope to stay healthy, even if you're a meat eater, no matter what you eat. So vital food is incredibly important. Things like blue-green algae or chlorella, things like sprouts, and I don't mean alfalfa sprouts, I mean like crunchy mix. Go to Sprout Man online and get the really good ones, that the peas and the dookie and the mung bean, and they just sprout until the little tail starts to come out, and you eat the whole bean, the whole seed. In Chinese thinking, eating seeds and nuts it builds vitality because it's the seed. You're eating something that's going to become something bigger. All of the vitality is inside of that seed or nut. So it's really important that you eat rice and beans and lots of nuts every day. Good nuts, walnuts and pecans and almonds every single day. It's really important that you get adequate amounts of protein. Eat brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast. Coconut oil is another wonderful thing, because you need something to fuel your body with. Coconut oil is available energy. As soon as you eat it, you have available energy. Again, another thing to look for in the signs and symptoms of how you might be having too cold of a system. And when I say cold, I mean not enough metabolism. If you're a woman and you are not having a normal period, this is because you're blood deficient. Take this seriously. If your menstrual flow is pale, if you don't have a menstrual flow. And I understand, because back in the 70s there was this big idea that, if you eat raw foods, you don't have a period and now you're like a wild animal. Well, okay, if you want to believe that's fine. If you want to conceive a child, well, you may have trouble. So you want to be able to build blood up. A woman's health in particular is based on her blood. Take good tonic herbs. Go to dragonherbs.com. Get their tonic alchemy. It's a powder. You can mix that up. It has 91 different Chinese herbs in it. Get some vitality into you. Take herbs, take herbal formulas, like with Dong Quai in it, something that's going to build your blood up. Eat beets. Eat lots of baked beets. Eat things that are red, something that's going to help build your blood up. Eat a lot of dried fruit. That has a lot of iron in it. You have to be smart if you're going to be a vegan. If you're one of these vegans that goes to Trader Joe's and gets all the easy things to eat and thinks you're going to be healthy, you have another thing coming. That you can't possibly hope to go browse in the produce department at Whole Foods and expect to live on that. If you're serious, make a garden. A garden is not that hard. If you want to be a vegan, grow yourself a big garden and eat out of that garden. Put your life force into that food and then put that food into your body. You can't expect Ralph's or Kroger to take care of you. That's just doesn't make any sense. And think about things being in season. You have to take this seriously. If you're eating, all winter long, you're eating fruit from the other side of the world, and all summer you're eating fruit from the other side of the world. You can't. This has been transported. It has no vitality left in it. To eat a lot of avocados. You need the oils. You need something to fuel your body. In conclusion, I would say as well, lots of root vegetables, particularly carrots and beets. These are vitally important if you hope to stay healthy. Again, this is Professor Chi thanking you for watching another film, and until next time, I'll see you then.